Hello, my name is Sandra Garza, and we are talking today about two cinematic films that we watched this week. I already forgot what their names were called. Let me see. Um, I have it here in my notes. I apologize. Um, Martyrs of the Alamo from 1915 and One Man's Hero from 1999, I think. Um, I thought that really there was one film I preferred more than the other. I think Martyrs of what was it called again? Martyrs of the Alamo. Martyrs of the Alamo was very hard for me to watch. It was a silent film made in 1915. It was portraying the heroes of Davy Crockett, James Bowie, um, and against the Mexican soldiers of Santa Anna. Um, I thought the movie was hard to follow. You had to read the cards. I thought that um, the gestures that the actors made as part of a silent film were almost comedic and funny. I think that it was definitely a movie that portrayed um, the Davy Crockett as the hero and the Mexicans as the enemy. Early in the movie, you see the Mexican soldiers, harassing women, they're drinking, they look like they're just out of control. Um, and so it really depicts Mexicans as just crazy and drunks and abusive people. Um, but this is supposed to be a movie about the Texas Revolution, and I think the most important part that was missing was that there was no mention of the Hunos and their relationship to the war. Obviously, the Hunos were with the Americans when fighting this war, and they were not portrayed at all in the movie. One Man's Hero. Was that the name of the movie? Yes, One Man's Hero. I really did like this movie. I hadn't heard about this movie or the story in this movie, but I really did enjoy it. The movie starts off with Sergeant John Riley, who is asking permission from his captain to go to mass. And the captain is telling him no. And then he asks a second time, and then the captain is responding with, "Do you want to be a traitor?" Um, and I thought that was very interesting. Um, and his response, I remember because he said, well, one man's traitor is another man's hero. So I really did like that line. That line stuck with me. In the end, he does go to mass, and then later on, he finds uh, part of his fellow Irish soldiers being beaten for the same reason of wanting to go to Catholic mass, and so he rescues them, and then their little group decides to leave um, and end up joining the Mexican side. Um, I think once they get over there and start joining the Mexican side, I don't think they really felt like they belonged. They couldn't be trusted by the Mexicans, and so I felt like him and his men, John Riley and his men, felt like they didn't belong on either side. They didn't belong on the Mexican side, and they didn't belong on the Mexican side. On the American side. And so I think that this is important because we talked about this in one of your other classes that as Mexican Americans, we also feel like we don't belong. Like we don't belong on the Mexican side, we don't belong on the American side, so where do we belong? So I could really relate to this portion of the movie. Um, I think what brings it all to a more humanized side is the little love story about him and Marta. Um, I think that when the love story comes into play, you actually feel that you are talking about real human beings that love their families. Um, they love their land. They're both trying to protect things that they care about. Um, And I think that was made very clear when John Riley asked Marta to leave with him, and she says that she can't. She can't leave her people, and he says the same thing. Well, he can't leave his men, so they're both stuck trying to um, figure out that they're probably going to have to sacrifice their own happiness for the things that they believe in. One of the toughest things to watch, it was the end of the movie when John Riley and his men sacrifice themselves so the Mexicans can get away. They're actually caught, and they force John Riley to watch his men being hung. Um, and as they're being hung, you can see the American flag go up behind them. Um, and John Riley is saying a prayer for them. And that was tough to watch for sure. It made you think about what exactly they're all fighting for. I think for John Riley, he was fighting for freedom. He was fighting for his right of freedom of religious rights. Um, and in the end, he ends up finding Marta again, and the narrator says that they're married and they end up living in the mountains of Mexico and never to be seen again. I really did like this movie. I thought it was good. Again, even though the plot was about the Irish, these Irishmen helping the Mexican side, we're still missing the part about the Tejanos. And so it was a film that did portray a different type of people, but again, I think they missed the mark on telling the story about Tejano's portion of this particular war. Um, I enjoyed both films. Well, no, I lied. I just lied. I did not enjoy the first film. I did not enjoy the silent movie. But I'm looking forward to watching what you have planned for us next week. Thank you very much.